Hello everyone, I'm Day Weather Meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council Weekly Weather Update. It's being brought to you by AgRisk Advisors and WSR Insurance Services Incorporated. Well, as we take a look ahead for the next week, you know what it looks like? It looks like typical March weather for the western United States. What we're going to see is a cooler wet weather pattern this weekend and into early next week for many areas of the west and central areas. There's going to be some areas in the central and southern plains that are going to pick up some badly needed moisture for some of the hard red winter wheat areas of Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, eastern Colorado, and parts of Nebraska and parts of Wyoming. We're also going to see some decent amounts of moisture into the mountain areas. Another western storm will arrive late next weekend. So we have two storms that are spaced roughly a week apart. So we'll have a storm this weekend, early next week, late next weekend, and early the following week will be the next storm system. And we expect the pattern to remain busy into early April as the North Pacific is going to be stormy. And when that happens, there'll be systems about every 5 or 7 days moving into the western United States. Now, over the past week, some of you have picked up some decent moisture, especially here in northeastern Colorado, parts of southeastern Wyoming and western Nebraska, also here in the Pacific Northwest, central and northern California, and even into the Great Basin states, some needed precipitation. So that's really good to see. And some areas are going to be able to see more precipitation coming in the next week or so. If you were to look at the precipitation anomalies, you can see here above average. And when you have above average moisture for the week in March, well, you've done pretty well. Looking at the latest drought monitor, there's only been very modest improvements. We still got a lot of red, a lot of brown, a lot of severe drought conditions in many areas of the southern plains and the western United States, although there is some help coming. This area right here in particular is likely going to show some modest changes in next week's update, maybe parts of the Pacific Northwest as well. Only a small improvement here in southeastern Wyoming, west central Wyoming, some small improvements in Montana, small improvements in drought conditions in Oregon. But you can see the yellow areas here where conditions relative to the 30-year normals have gotten a little bit drier. As we go through the forecast, this is for this weekend. This weather map showing a low pressure coming into the west coast. So parts of California, the Pacific Northwest, and the interior western Great Basin this weekend will get into some areas of developing rain and snow, maybe even some thunderstorm activity. This storm becomes a very mature storm and is into the panhandle of Texas by Monday and Tuesday. This is going to bring thunderstorms, rain and snow to the plains, snow to the Rockies, while we'll see warmer, drier conditions develop along the coast for a temporary period. But this is going to be a really good producer of rain and snow, and we'll show you that here in a moment. Next weekend, this is by next Saturday, the 27th. You can see that as we get into the 26th Saturday, 27th Sunday, the next storm comes into the Pacific Northwest, headed towards the Central Rockies. So this will bring western areas another round of precipitation by late next weekend into the following week, and that will probably carry forward into early April. When we take a look at the precipitation outlook for the next 7 days, this is where we were showing you and talking about some of the hard red winter wheat areas right here that really need the rain. They're going to get some rain and snow and some thunderstorm activity there. But also along and west of the divide, there's going to be over the next week some measurable precipitation as well. So nice to see this March precipitation. We got this storm coming next weekend. I think that will add to those totals. So things looking a little more encouraging. We're getting some of that spring moisture we really, really need. Taking a look at the snowfall forecast, livestock interest, especially in this area right here, need to be on the lookout for some stressful livestock weather conditions. This is mainly going to be late Sunday night into Monday and Tuesday. And then you can see into the interior west and the higher mountains of the Pacific Northwest, the Sierra of California, the high mountains of the Great Basin. Going to also get into some snow with some northern and northwest Corn Belt snows as well. Temperature-wise, over the next 7 days, relative to normals, temperatures will be above average across southern Canada, Montana, the Dakotas, and into the parts of the interior. Now, these are not terribly warm compared to normals. you can see where the stormy weather is going to be over the next 7 days. Where that low is, temperatures are going to be a little bit colder than normal. The good thing is we don't see any Arctic intrusion. The odds of Arctic air getting into the United States as you get deeper into the March gets harder and harder to do. And when you see where we're going to have the Arctic air, it's going to be locked up well to our north. So we've got some active weather coming. Stock growers, be prepared for some off and on periods of cooler, wet weather, but good news about the wet. Our next update will be next Saturday, the 26th. Have a good week ahead, everyone.